The morning sun cast long shadows across the ancient stones of Alula as Prince William stepped off the royal aircraft, his polished shoes touching Saudi soil for the first time in his role as heir to the throne. What awaited him was not just another diplomatic mission, but a journey that would challenge everything he thought he knew about the kingdom that had remained shrouded in mystery for decades. In his briefcase lay an itinerary that would take him from the bustling financial towers of Riyadh to the sacred mountains of Taif, from the pearl-diving heritage of Dammam to the futuristic dreams of Neom. But what Prince William couldn't have anticipated was how each city would reveal a different layer of Saudi Arabia's transformation, a nation caught between preserving its ancient traditions and racing toward a future that seemed to redefine the very essence of the Middle East. This wasn't just a royal visit. This was a prince discovering a kingdom in the midst of its greatest metamorphosis, where every handshake carried the weight of history. Every conversation opened doors to possibilities that could reshape international relations for generations to come. As the desert wind carried the scent of frankincense and ambition, Prince William was about to embark on a journey that would not only change his understanding of Saudi Arabia, but also test his own vision for Britain's future in an evolving world. The story that unfolded across Saudi Arabia's diverse landscapes would prove that sometimes the most profound diplomatic breakthroughs happen not in grand palace halls, but in the quiet moments when two cultures truly see each other for the first time. The aircraft door opened with a gentle hiss, and Prince William felt the warm desert air rush against his face like a gentle embrace from an ancient land. Stepping onto the red carpet that had been meticulously rolled out across the tarmac of King Khalid International Airport, he was immediately struck by the contrast between the modern glass terminals gleaming in the distance and the traditional honor guard standing at perfect attention, their ceremonial swords catching the morning light. Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman waited at the foot of the aircraft stairs, his warm smile genuine as he extended his hand in greeting. The handshake that followed was firm, lasting just long enough to convey mutual respect without the stiffness that often characterized such formal diplomatic encounters. Prince William had been briefed extensively about the Crown Prince, but meeting him in person revealed something the intelligence reports had failed to capture: an infectious enthusiasm for his country's future that seemed to radiate from every gesture. The convoy that whisked them into Riyadh moved through streets that told the story of a nation in rapid transition. Traditional mud brick buildings stood proudly beside gleaming skyscrapers, their architectural dialogue speaking of a country that refused to abandon its past while embracing its future. Prince William found himself pressed against the window of the armored vehicle, watching as vendors in traditional thobes sold their wares from stalls positioned beneath towering digital billboards, advertising everything from local dates to international technology conferences. Their first official stop was the King Abdulaziz Center for World Culture, known locally as ITHRA. As Prince William stepped out of the vehicle, he was immediately captivated by the building's extraordinary architecture. A series of interconnected tubes that seemed to rise from the earth like some futuristic interpretation of traditional Arabian wind towers. The Crown Prince noticed his fascination and smiled knowingly. Inside the center, Prince William discovered something that challenged every preconception he might have held about cultural expression in the kingdom. Young Saudi artists, both men and women, displayed their work with pride and passion. He spent nearly an hour speaking with Noura al-Rashid, a painter whose abstract interpretations of Bedouin life had earned international recognition. Her eyes lit up as she explained how traditional camel racing patterns had inspired her latest series, and Prince William found himself genuinely moved by her ability to bridge ancient traditions with contemporary artistic expression. The afternoon brought a visit to the Diriyah ruins, the birthplace of the Saudi state. Walking among the restored mud brick structures, Prince William listened as local historians explained how this UNESCO World Heritage Site represented not just the kingdom's origins, but its commitment to preserving cultural heritage while modernizing. The contrast was striking. Restoration work was being carried out using traditional methods and materials, while solar panels discreetly integrated into the ancient walls powered modern lighting systems that would allow visitors to experience the site after dark. As the sun began to set, painting the ruins in shades of gold and amber, Prince William found himself in deep conversation with Dr. Fahad al-Otaibi, one of Saudi Arabia's leading archaeologists. The conversation revealed the kingdom's ambitious plans to become a major cultural tourism destination. But what impressed Prince William most was the genuine respect these modern Saudis showed for their ancestors' achievements. The evening's formal dinner at Al Mazmak Fortress provided another layer of complexity to Prince William's understanding of contemporary Saudi Arabia. The fortress, which had played a crucial role in the kingdom's founding, had been transformed into a venue that seamlessly blended historical significance with modern sophistication. local chefs prepared traditional Saudi dishes using contemporary techniques, creating flavors that honored the past while appealing to international palates. During the dinner, Prince William found himself seated next to Princess Rima bint Bandar Al Saud, Saudi Arabia's ambassador to the United States. Her presence at such a high-level dinner would have been unthinkable just a few years earlier, but her contributions to the conversation about international relations and cultural exchange demonstrated the changing role of women in Saudi society. She spoke eloquently about the challenges and opportunities facing Saudi youth, particularly young women who were entering universities and the workforce in unprecedented numbers. The conversation turned to education, and Prince William learned about the kingdom's massive investment in scholarships that were sending thousands of young Saudis to study abroad. Princess Rima explained how these students were expected to return and contribute to the kingdom's development, creating a generation of globally educated Saudis who could bridge different worlds. The irony wasn't lost on Prince William. A country once criticized for its isolation was now actively encouraging its citizens to engage with the broader world. As the evening progressed, traditional Oud music filled the fortress courtyard, performed by musicians who had learned their craft from masters stretching back generations. Yet even this ancient art form showed signs of evolution, as the traditional melodies incorporated subtle influences from the contemporary Middle Eastern music scene. Prince William watched as young Saudis in the audience swayed to rhythms that their grandparents would have recognized, while also capturing videos to share on social media platforms that connected them to a global community. The night concluded with Prince William participating in a traditional Saudi coffee ceremony, where the ritual of serving and accepting coffee carried deep cultural significance. As he sipped the cardamom-flavored kahwa from a small cup, he reflected on the day's experiences. Every interaction had revealed layers of complexity that his briefings had failed to capture. This wasn't simply a country implementing top-down reforms. It was a society in the midst of an organic transformation where tradition and modernity were finding new ways to coexist. His private journal entry that night captured his initial impressions. Riyadh has shown me a Saudi Arabia that exists in the space between worlds. It's neither the ultra-conservative kingdom of Western imagination nor the completely modernized state that some reformers envision. Instead, it's something more interesting, a society that's finding its own path forward while maintaining its essential character. The following morning brought a visit to the Princess Noura bint Abdul Rahman University, the world's largest women-only university. Prince William's presence on a campus where women moved freely, drove cars, and pursued everything from engineering to fine arts was perhaps the most powerful symbol of the changes taking place in the kingdom. He observed a robotics class where young women were programming autonomous vehicles, their hijabs and abayas creating in striking visual contrast with the cutting-edge technology they were mastering. Dr. George Ines Al-Isa, the university's vice president, walked Prince William through laboratories where female graduate students were conducting research on everything from renewable energy to artificial intelligence. The conversations he had with these students revealed their ambitions extended far beyond traditional career paths. They spoke of starting their own companies, pursuing advanced degrees abroad, and contributing to their country's technological advancement. One particular conversation stayed with Prince William throughout his journey. Fatima Al-Zahra, a computer science student, showed him an app she had developed to help elderly Saudis navigate modern technology. Her explanation revealed a deep understanding of how rapid social change affected different generations, and her solution demonstrated both technical skill and cultural sensitivity. When Prince William asked about her future plans, she responded without hesitation that she intended to start her own technology company after graduation. The university visit concluded with Prince William addressing a gathering of students and faculty. His speech, delivered to an audience of nearly 1,000 women, focused on the importance of education in building bridges between nations. The enthusiastic response from the audience, including questions about opportunities for Saudi students to study in British universities, reinforced his growing understanding that the changes he was witnessing were driven as much by popular aspiration as by government policy. The afternoon brought a dramatically different experience, a visit to a traditional souk in Old Riyadh. Walking through the narrow alleys filled with vendors selling everything from hand-woven carpets to traditional jewelry, Prince William experienced the Saudi Arabia that had existed for centuries. Yet even here, change was evident. Many vendors now accepted mobile payments alongside traditional cash, and social media had become an important marketing tool for businesses that had once relied solely on word-of-mouth recommendations. At a traditional spice merchant stall, Prince William learnt about the kingdom's historical role as a trading hub connecting Europe, Africa. The merchant, whose family had been in the spice trade for 5 generations, explained how Saudi Arabia's strategic location had made it wealthy long before oil was discovered. The conversation revealed how contemporary Saudis viewed their country's current economic diversification efforts as a return to historical patterns rather than a complete departure from the past. As his first full day in Riyadh concluded, Prince William found himself grappling with the complexity of what he had witnessed. The Saudi Arabia he was discovering bore little resemblance to the simple narratives that dominated international media coverage. Instead, he was encountering a society engaged in a sophisticated balancing act, trying to honor its traditions while creating space for new possibilities. His evening reflection session with his private secretary revealed the challenge he faced as a royal visitor: how to accurately convey the nuances of what he was experiencing to audiences back home, who often preferred simpler stories. The Saudi Arabia emerging from his first day was neither a fairy tale transformation nor a superficial public relations exercise, but something more complex and therefore more interesting. A real society working through the challenges of change while maintaining its essential identity. The helicopter lifted off from Riyadh at dawn, carrying Prince William toward the ancient oasis city of Al-Ahasa, where date palms had been cultivating human civilization for over 4,000 years. As the aircraft flew over the vast Arabian desert, the landscape below shifted from the urban sprawl of the capital to endless golden dunes that seemed to stretch to the horizon. Prince William pressed his face to the window, watching as occasional Bedouin camps appeared like small islands in an ocean of sand, their black tents a reminder of the nomadic heritage that still flowed through Saudi veins. The descent into Al-Ahasa revealed one of the world's largest oasis systems, where millions of date palms created a green carpet across the desert floor. The contrast was breathtaking. One moment flying over barren sand dunes, the next descending into a verdant paradise that had sustained life for millennia. Prince William's local guide, Dr. Abdul Rahman Al-Bassam, an agricultural scientist who had spent his career studying traditional farming methods, explained that these palm groves represented one of humanity's oldest examples of sustainable agriculture. Walking through the ancient irrigation channels known as Aflaj, Prince William learned how generations of Saudi farmers had developed sophisticated water management systems that allowed them to thrive in one of the world's harshest environments. The channels, some carved into rock and others lined with traditional materials, carried precious water from underground springs to nourish the date palms that formed the backbone of oasis life. Dr. Al-Bassam explained that these irrigation techniques were now being studied by international agricultural experts seeking sustainable solutions for water-scarce regions. The visit to a traditional date farm provided Prince William with insights into how ancient practices were being enhanced with modern technology. The farm owner, Hassan al-Dosari, whose family had been cultivating dates for 8 generations, showed how GPS monitoring and soil analysis were helping him optimize crop yields while maintaining the organic methods passed down through his ancestors. The integration of traditional knowledge with contemporary science created a farming approach that was both highly productive and environmentally sustainable. Prince William spent considerable time learning about the different varieties of dates produced in the region, each with its own flavor profile and harvesting requirements. He participated in the traditional date tasting ceremony, where local farmers demonstrated how to properly evaluate the quality of different date varieties. The complexity of flavors surprised him. From the honey-like sweetness of medjool dates to the rich, wine-like complexity of Qudri varieties, each type reflected the specific microclimate and soil conditions of its growing area. The afternoon brought a visit to the Al-Qara mountain, where natural caves had provided shelter and protection for centuries. Exploring these limestone formations with local geologists, Prince William discovered chambers decorated with ancient inscriptions and cave paintings that told the story of human habitation stretching back thousands of years. The caves maintained a constant temperature that provided natural air conditioning, and modern archaeologists were using advanced imaging techniques to uncover layers of history preserved in the rock walls. Local storyteller Ahmed Al-Muhanna captivated Prince William with tales passed down through generations about the mountain's role in protecting travelers and providing refuge during sandstorms. These oral histories revealed how the physical landscape had shaped the cultural development of the region, creating stories and traditions that connected contemporary Saudis to their ancient past. Prince William recorded several of these stories, recognizing their value as cultural treasures that deserved preservation. The evening in Al-Ahasa concluded with a traditional Majlis gathering, where local community leaders shared their perspectives on how the region was adapting to contemporary challenges while preserving its agricultural heritage. The conversation revealed the complex balance rural communities were striking between maintaining traditional ways of life and embracing opportunities for economic development. Many young Saudis were choosing to remain in agricultural areas, but they were bringing university educations and entrepreneurial ideas that were revitalizing rural economies. The next morning brought Prince William to the eastern province city of Dammam, where the discovery of oil had transformed Saudi Arabia and the world. The helicopter approach revealed the industrial landscape of one of the world's largest oil-producing regions, with refineries and petrochemical plants stretching along the Persian Gulf coast. Yet even here, signs of economic diversification were evident, as renewable energy installations and technology parks began to dot the landscape alongside traditional energy infrastructure. At the Saudi Aramco headquarters, Prince William met with executives who were overseeing the company's transformation from a pure oil producer to a global energy and technology leader. The conversations revealed how even the world's largest oil company was investing heavily in renewable energy, artificial intelligence, and sustainable technologies. CEO Amin Nasser explained how Aramco's research and development efforts were focusing on carbon capture technologies and renewable energy systems that could help the world transition to cleaner energy sources. The visit to Aramco's research facilities provided Prince William with insights into Saudi Arabia's long-term economic strategy. Rather than simply extracting and selling oil, the kingdom was investing in developing the technologies and expertise needed to remain relevant in a changing global energy landscape. Young Saudi engineers showed him laboratories where they were developing advanced materials for solar panels and working on hydrogen fuel technologies that could become major export industries. A particularly fascinating conversation occurred with Dr. Sarah Al-Mutayeri, one of Aramco's senior geologists, who explained how the company's deep understanding of subsurface geology was being applied to geothermal energy development and carbon storage projects. Her work demonstrated how skills developed in the oil industry were being transferred to renewable energy sectors, creating continuity between Saudi Arabia's energy past and its sustainable future. The afternoon brought Prince William to the King Fahd University of Petroleum and Minerals, where he discovered how the kingdom was preparing its next generation of leaders for a post-oil economy. The university's programs had expanded far beyond petroleum engineering to include renewable energy, artificial intelligence, and biotechnology. Walking through laboratories where students were developing everything from smart city technologies to advanced materials for space exploration, Prince William saw how Saudi Arabia was cultivating the human capital needed for economic transformation. A conversation with University President Dr. Khalid Al Sultan revealed the institution's international partnerships with leading universities worldwide. Students and faculty were collaborating on research projects with institutions in the United States, Europe, and Asia, creating knowledge networks that connected Saudi Arabia to the global innovation ecosystem. The university was also attracting international students and researchers, transforming it into a truly global institution. The visit to Dammam's new financial district showed Prince William how the Eastern Province was positioning itself as a regional hub for finance and technology. The gleaming towers housed everything from fintech startups to international investment firms, creating an economic ecosystem that could thrive regardless of oil prices. Local entrepreneurs were developing technologies for everything from digital banking to agricultural automation, demonstrating the entrepreneurial energy that was driving economic diversification. One particularly impressive company visit was to a startup called Desert Tech, founded by young Saudi engineer Khalid Al-Rashid. The company was developing autonomous systems for monitoring oil pipelines and renewable energy installations, using artificial intelligence and drone technology to create more efficient and safer operations. Prince William was struck by how this young entrepreneur was building on traditional energy industry expertise while creating solutions for future energy challenges. The evening concluded with a cultural performance at the Dammam waterfront, where traditional pearl diving songs were performed against the backdrop of modern city skyline. The performers, many of whom came from families with pearl diving heritage, explained how their ancestors had made their living from the Persian Gulf long before oil was discovered. The music and stories connected contemporary Saudis to their maritime heritage while celebrating the prosperity that had transformed their region. Prince William's evening reflections centered on the remarkable human adaptability he was witnessing. Communities that had built their identities around specific economic activities were successfully transitioning to new opportunities while maintaining their cultural essence. The pearl divers' descendants were becoming engineers and entrepreneurs, but they still gathered to sing the songs their grandfathers had sung while diving for pearls in the Gulf waters. The following morning brought a visit to the King Abdul Aziz port in Dammam, one of the largest ports on the Persian Gulf. The facility showed Prince William how Saudi Arabia was positioning itself as a major logistics hub connecting Asia, Europe, and Africa. The port's expansion was creating thousands of jobs while reducing the kingdom's dependence on oil revenues, demonstrating how infrastructure investments were supporting economic diversification goals. Walking through the port's container terminals with Port Authority CEO Ahmed Al-Jaber, Prince William learned about the kingdom's ambitious plans to become a major player in global trade. The port was being connected to railway networks that would carry goods across Saudi Arabia and into neighboring countries, creating trade corridors that could rival traditional shipping routes. Advanced automation systems were making the port more efficient while creating high-skilled jobs for Saudi workers. The final stop in the eastern province was a visit to a renewable energy installation, where solar panels and wind turbines were being tested in desert conditions. The facility represented Saudi Arabia's commitment to becoming a major producer of renewable energy, both for domestic use and export. Engineers explained how the kingdom's abundant sunshine and wind resources could make it a renewable energy superpower, potentially allowing it to export clean energy to Europe and Asia through undersea cables and hydrogen production. As Prince William prepared to depart for the next phase of his journey, he reflected on how the Eastern Province embodied Saudi Arabia's complex relationship with change. This region had experienced the most dramatic transformation in Saudi history, evolving from a traditional pearl diving and trading area to the heart of the global oil industry in less than a century. Now it was transforming again, preparing for a future where oil might play a smaller role in the global economy. The conversations he had held with everyone from oil executives to university students revealed a society that was neither clinging to the past nor abandoning its heritage, but instead finding ways to honor its history while embracing new possibilities. The Eastern Province was showing the world that energy transitions didn't have to destroy communities. Instead, they could create opportunities for societies to rediscover and build upon their deepest strengths. The final phase of Prince William's journey took him to the northwestern region of Saudi Arabia, where ancient civilizations had left their mark on landscapes that seemed untouched by time. Flying toward Al-Ula, he gazed down at terrain that had witnessed the rise and fall of the Nabatean kingdom, the same civilization that had carved the magnificent city of Petra in neighboring Jordan. The helicopter descended toward a landscape dotted with towering sandstone formations that rose from the desert floor like ancient sentinels, guarding secrets from humanity's distant past. Al-Ula welcomed Prince William with a sunrise that painted the rocky outcrops in shades of gold and crimson, creating a natural cathedral that had inspired travelers for thousands of years. His guide, Dr. Laila Neheme, a French archaeologist working with the Saudi Heritage Commission, explained how this region represented one of the most significant archaeological discoveries of the 21st century. The preservation work being undertaken here was setting new international standards for how ancient sites could be protected while remaining accessible to visitors and researchers. Walking among the tombs of Hegra, Saudi Arabia's first UNESCO World Heritage Site, Prince William experienced the profound silence of a place where Nabatean merchants had once gathered before setting out on trading expeditions across the Arabian Peninsula. The elaborate facades carved into red sandstone cliffs revealed a sophisticated civilization that had mastered the art of desert survival, while creating architectural marvels that rivaled anything in the ancient world. Dr. Mehme showed him inscriptions in multiple languages that testified to Al-Ula's role as a crossroads where different cultures had met and influenced each other. The conservation work at Hegra impressed Prince William with its commitment to international best practices. Saudi and international archaeologists were working together, using advanced technologies like ground-penetrating radar and 3D modeling to understand and preserve the site without damaging its integrity. The project represented a new approach to heritage preservation that combined traditional archaeological methods with cutting-edge technology, creating detailed digital records that would allow future generations to study these monuments even if climate change or other factors threatened their physical preservation. A visit to the Al-Ula Museum provided Prince William with context for understanding how this ancient trading hub had connected civilizations from the Mediterranean to the Indian Ocean. The museum's collections revealed the incredible diversity of cultures that had passed through this region, leaving behind artifacts that told stories of artistic exchange, religious dialogue, and commercial innovation. Museum director Dr. Abdul Rahman Al-Suhaibani explained how the institution was becoming a center for research into ancient Arabian civilizations, attracting scholars from around the world who are rewriting the history of the Arabian Peninsula. The afternoon brought Prince William to the Contemporary Artist Residency program that was bringing international creators to Al-Ula to create works inspired by the ancient landscape. In a restored traditional house, he met artists from 6 different countries who were exploring how ancient artistic traditions could inform contemporary creative expression. Italian sculptor Marco Perego showed him works that incorporated traditional Arabian geometric patterns with modern materials, creating pieces that seemed to emerge naturally from the desert landscape. The conversation with resident artists revealed how Al-Ula was becoming more than just an archaeological site. it was evolving into a place where contemporary culture could engage with ancient wisdom. British textile artist Helen Morrison explained how she was working with local Bedouin women to revive traditional weaving techniques while creating contemporary artworks that celebrated the desert's natural beauty. Her collaboration demonstrated how cultural exchange could benefit both visiting artists and local communities while preserving traditional skills that might otherwise be lost. Evening brought Prince William to a traditional Bedouin camp, where he experienced the hospitality culture that had sustained desert travelers for centuries. Sitting around a campfire, under a sky brilliant with stars invisible in urban areas, he listened to local elders share oral histories that had been passed down through generations. The stories revealed how Bedouin culture had developed sophisticated systems for navigating the desert, predicting weather patterns, and maintaining social relationships across vast distances. The camp experience provided Prince William with insights into how traditional Saudi culture was adapting to contemporary realities. Many of the Bedouin families were now involved in tourism and conservation work, using their traditional knowledge to help visitors understand the desert environment, while earning sustainable incomes that allowed them to maintain their cultural practices. The integration of traditional wisdom with modern economic opportunities created a model for cultural preservation that benefited both local communities and international visitors. The next morning brought Prince William to Noam, the futuristic megacity being constructed in the northwestern corner of Saudi Arabia. The contrast with the ancient sites of Alula could not have been more dramatic. Here, architects and engineers were creating urban environments that seemed to belong more to science fiction than to contemporary reality. The scale of the project was breathtaking, with plans for a linear city stretching across desert, mountain, and coastal environments while maintaining complete environmental sustainability. Meeting with NEOM's international planning team, Prince William learnt about the city's ambitious goals to become carbon neutral while providing a high quality of life for its residents. The project was attracting expertise from around the world, with urban planners, renewable energy specialists, and technology innovators working together to create urban systems that could serve as models for sustainable development in harsh environments. The conversations revealed how Saudi Arabia was investing its oil wealth in creating post-oil economic infrastructure that could sustain prosperity for future generations. A visit to NEOM's renewable energy installations showed Prince William the largest solar and wind power projects in the Middle East. The facility was designed to produce enough clean energy to power the entire megacity, while also producing hydrogen for export to international markets. Engineers explained how the project was creating thousands of high-skilled jobs for Saudi workers, while establishing the kingdom as a leader in renewable energy technology. The integration of environmental sustainability with economic development represented a new model for how oil-rich nations could transition to post-carbon economies. The NEOM research facilities impressed Prince William with their focus on developing technologies that could address global challenges. Scientists were working on everything from desalination systems that could provide fresh water for coastal cities to artificial intelligence systems that could optimize energy use across entire urban areas. The international research collaborations were creating knowledge networks that connected Saudi Arabia to innovation centers worldwide, while building local expertise in cutting-edge technologies. A conversation with NEOM CEO Nadmi Al-Nosser revealed the project's role in Saudi Arabia's broader transformation strategy. The megacity was designed to attract international investment and talent, while demonstrating that the kingdom could successfully undertake projects of unprecedented scale and complexity. The city's success would prove that Saudi Arabia possessed the institutional capacity needed to implement Vision 2030's ambitious goals for economic and social transformation. The afternoon brought Prince William to the Red Sea coast, where NEOM's marine conservation projects were protecting coral reefs while developing sustainable tourism infrastructure. Marine biologists showed him underwater restoration work that was creating new habitats for endangered species, while demonstrating how development projects could enhance rather than degrade natural environments. The conversation revealed how environmental protection was being integrated into Saudi Arabia's economic development strategy as a source of competitive advantage rather than a constraint on growth. The final evening of Prince William's journey took place at a cultural festival in the historic town of Taima, where local and international artists were collaborating on performances that celebrated the region's cultural heritage, while exploring themes relevant to contemporary global audiences. The festival demonstrated how Saudi Arabia was creating cultural institutions that could compete internationally while remaining rooted in local traditions and values. Watching traditional oud music performed alongside contemporary dance and visual arts, Prince William reflected on the remarkable journey he had experienced across Saudi Arabia. Each region had revealed different aspects of a society engaged in profound transformation, while maintaining essential elements of its cultural identity. The conversations he had held with everyone from archaeologists to entrepreneurs had revealed a country that was neither abandoning its past nor remaining trapped by it, but instead finding innovative ways to honor its heritage while embracing new possibilities. His final journal entry captured the complexity of what he had witnessed. Saudi Arabia has shown me that transformation doesn't require abandoning identity. Instead, the most successful changes seem to emerge from deep understanding of a society's essential strengths and values. The kingdom is not becoming Western or Eastern, but something uniquely Saudi that draws from its historical role as a crossroads between civilizations while addressing the challenges and opportunities of the 21st century. The departure ceremony at Neom's airport provided a fitting conclusion to Prince William's journey. As he prepared to board the aircraft that would take him back to London, Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman presented him with a traditional Arabian horse saddle crafted by artisans in Alula, symbolizing the journey they had taken together across the kingdom. The gift represented the perfect integration of traditional craftsmanship with contemporary diplomatic relations, embodying the approach to change that Prince William had observed throughout his visit. Flying north over the Red Sea toward Europe, Prince William watched the Saudi coastline disappear behind him while reflecting on the profound experience he had shared with a country in the midst of historical transformation. The Saudi Arabia he was leaving bore little resemblance to the kingdom he had imagined before his arrival, and he knew that the insights he had gained would influence his own thinking about leadership, change, and the complex relationship between tradition and progress for years to come. The final realization that struck Prince William as the aircraft climbed toward cruising altitude was that Saudi Arabia's transformation was not just a regional phenomenon, but part of a global pattern where societies were finding new ways to balance preservation of cultural identity with adaptation to changing circumstances. The lessons he had learned about managing change while honoring heritage would prove valuable not just for understanding the Middle East, but for addressing the challenges facing institutions and communities worldwide in an era of rapid transformation. As London appeared on the horizon, Prince William knew that his official journey across Saudi Arabia had provided him with more than diplomatic experience. It had offered insights into how societies could navigate change successfully, while maintaining their essential character, lessons that would inform his own future role as a leader in an increasingly complex and interconnected world.